Welcome to our Geographical Indications Toolkit. This video takes a closer look at the product specification, a document that outlines the essential attributes and characteristics of a product that qualifies for a GI designation. All members of your applicant producer group must agree on the contents of this document, as it includes the standards that must be met for a product to be able to carry the GI name. The product specification has several elements. First of all, the name is used for your product, essential to giving it an identity and connection with its territory. Usually, the name includes a geographical element, notably a reference to a region, place, or country, such as Azafrán de la Mancha, saffron from the La Mancha area in central Spain. However, the name can also be one which has simply been in traditional use in a particular geographical area. For example, feta cheese, a registered name that does not contain a geographical connotation. GI names are written in the language used in their place of origin. This may be a national language or indeed a lesser used language, dialect, or a language historically used for the product. If this is not in Latin letters, please provide transcription or transliteration into the Latin alphabet. If more than one name is used for the same product, for example, Nocciola Piemonte and Nocciola del Piemonte, the names must be separated by a slash. This double name should be used throughout the document. Names containing descriptive or qualitative words such as original, traditional, or farmhouse should be avoided, and any made-up name for the sole purpose of creating a new GI is not eligible. Another important element of the product specification is the description of your product. It defines the specific features of your product, which distinguish it from similar products of its type. You should indicate the category your product belongs to. Also technical and scientific data, including physical, chemical, or organoleptic characteristics, color, shape, dimension, aroma, taste, anything specific which sets the product apart. You need to give information if a specific method of production is used, such as, for example, the use of raw materials, plant varieties, animal breeds, and any rules regarding the feed of the animals. For wine GIs, indicate winemaking practices as well as the grape varieties that are allowed and the maximum yields. For agri-food products, give evidence they originate in the defined geographical area, including procedures for traceability. The product specification should also clearly indicate the limits of the geographical area where your product is made, by reference where possible, to physical boundaries such as rivers, roads, or administrative boundaries, for example, settlements, regions, or even land parcels. You may include a map as an annex to your document. How the specificities of this territory influence the final product is absolutely key. This is what we call the link section of the product specification. State any determinant natural features such as soil composition, climatic conditions, topography, as long as they have a relevant effect on the characteristics of the final product. A beautiful landscape, for example, would not be such a feature. Illustrate, too, the human factors influencing your product. Is there local know-how or any distinct method over and above normal production skills which are relevant? How do all these natural and human factors contribute to the characteristics of the product or to its reputation? Then, there may be other specific provisions for your product, such as obligatory sustainable practices, packaging rules or specific bottling stipulations, labeling requirements, such as the obligation to use a product-specific logo, or for wines, the mentioning of traditional terms or a vintage year. And for spirit drinks, the name and address of control bodies should be included. Add any requirements you and your fellow producers consider important. Once you have completed the product specification, the next step is to write the single document, which is a summary of the product specification. The next video will focus on this. We look forward to seeing you there.